chauli or black-eyed beans instantly, I'm going to take about 1 cup of them in my pressure pan and I'm going to roast them for at least 5 minutes. Then I'm going to just rinse them thrice under running water. And then I'm just going to add about 1.5 cups of water to the pressure pan and I'm going to cook it on 1 whistle on high and simmer for 15 minutes. And then once the cooker is cool, you can see that your chauli is already nice and cooked. So this is the fastest way to cook it. Now we have all these spices and like red chilies, then some fresh coconut, some coriander seeds, garlic, peppercorns, a little bit of turmeric powder, then there's fennel seeds or sauf, some cloves, mace, cinnamon. This is 1 onion chopped fine and 1 onion sliced, 1 small tomato, some fresh coriander leaves. So I've just soaked in some water to which salt has been added. Now all these ingredients along with their correct measurements will be in the description box below, so you can go there and see everything. Now I'm just taking about a tablespoon of oil in my pan, and once the oil is hot, I'm going to add in my 4 cloves of garlic, my 1 onion which I've sliced, about 10 dried red chilies. Then I'm going to add my fresh coconut. And we're going to fry all this really well till we get the aroma of the coconut and the onions and the garlic and everything is nice and fried. This is a very important step, that you fry everything very, very well. Now you can also make this masala paste and store it in your refrigerator and in a little larger quantity, and whenever you feel like making this tonak, you can make it. Now I'm just going to add all my whole spices like my fennel seeds, then the coriander seeds, the cloves, the cinnamon, the peppercorns, a little haldi powder or turmeric powder, and I'm going to fry that too in the oil, and then I'm going to mix everything well together and fry everything well together. And then we're just going to let this cool to room temperature, and then we're going to grind this to a very, very fine paste. So remember that the mixture has to cool completely. Don't put a very hot mixture into your mixer pot. And then we're just going to add a little bit of water, say about 1/4 cup of water, and we're going to grind this to a very smooth paste. Now you get this lovely orange color paste. And then also clean out your mixer for the reserve water. So just add some water, and we're going to use this water too for our recipe. So none of that lovely masala water goes to waste. And then we're just going to add about 1/2 tablespoon of oil to the same pan, and we're going to fry 1 onion which has been diced. Fry it well. Then we're going to add our small tomato. Let this fry well too. Then we're going to add our masala paste. And we're going to mix everything well together. Let this fry again well till you have some of the masala oil coming to the surface. So this should take you about 3 to 4 minutes to fry the masala well. This is also very important. And now we're going to add some salt to taste. Now I have another chauli recipe also, which is pretty simple. I'll leave a link below so you can see that recipe too if you want to make that recipe. And now we're just going to add the masala water and add a little more water because we want a little thinner gravy, not a very thick gravy. Or you can add as much as you want. If you like it on the thicker side, then add just little water. If you want a little more, with little more gravy, then add a little more water. And then just give everything a mix. And then just add a little bit of chopped coriander leaves. And then we're just going to cover it and cook it for about 5 to 10 minutes on a very low flame. And that's it, friends. Such a simple recipe, yet so delicious. Give it a try, guys. Verdur, where you don't need to grind any masala paste. It's just a shortcut and easy recipe. Now first I washed my bottle gourd or dudhi really well, cut it up into half. Now I'm going to be using half for this recipe, and I'll be using half for the other recipe which I'll be posting very soon, so keep tuned to Akshata's recipes. Now after peeling it, I've just taken off the top and I'm just going to cut it up like this into medium sized cubes. We don't want very small cubes, we don't want large cubes, so medium sized cubes. So see that your dudhi is fresh. Always taste a little bit of the dudhi and see that it is not bitter. If it is bitter, please discard it. Your dudhi should be nice and sweet and fresh and not bitter at all. So this is half a cup of dudhi. Now I've taken one small tomato which I've chopped, 2 green chilies which I've slit, 1 medium-sized onion which I've cut, and 1 cup of thick coconut milk. Now I am using the ready-made coconut milk powder which I've just mixed up with some warm water. But if you want to use the organic, actually make the coconut milk, you're free to do that. Now in a bowl, I'm going to take 1 teaspoon of Goa garam masala. I have posted a recipe. It's super simple. I will leave a link in the description box as well as the comment section, so check it out. Now I'm going to add half a teaspoon of cumin powder, half a teaspoon of pepper powder. Next, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of coriander powder and 1/4 teaspoon of haldi or turmeric powder. That's all the powder masalas that you need. Now I'm going to mix all the powder masalas really well, and I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of garlic paste. I've just taken 4 large cloves of garlic and mashed them up in my mortar and pestle, and I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of water. Add a little at a time and mix all these ingredients, and this will become our masala paste. So there's no need of grinding all the spices and going through all of that. You can just mix everything nicely well together. Now the garam masala has got everything, cinnamon, cloves, so you can see the recipe, and your masala paste is ready. So now we can start making our verdur. So I've taken a pan, heated it on a low to medium flame, and I'm going to add only 1 teaspoon of oil. This recipe does not require extra oil. Now once the oil is hot, I'm going to add the slit green chilies, and I'm going to fry the chilies really well so that they flavor the oil. Always fry your chilies well, then they get a little bit of a white coating on the peel of the chili. That way it flavors the oil also very well. So once the chilies are fried, I'm going to add the onion. I've just taken 1 medium-sized onion, washed it, peeled it, and just chopped it. And I'm going to saute this onion for at least half a minute till it becomes a little bit translucent. So it's very important to, bagar all the veggies well. And now I'm going to add the small tomato that I've chopped, and I'm going to fry the tomato also really well for about half a minute at least. Now I'm going to add this masala paste that we made with all the powder masalas. Now I always have all these powder masalas, ready at hand. I'll leave a link to a video of my spice rack and even my kitchen tour video. So for those of you who have missed it, you can watch those all in the description box and the comment section down below. Now I'm just going to add about 1/4 cup of water to this masala paste. And now we're just going to mix everything well, and we're going to wait for the tomatoes to cook a bit, to become a little soft. That takes about half a minute. So let the tomatoes cook for about half a minute till they're a little bit soft. Now we're going to add the dudhi or the gourd, the bottle gourd, and we're going to coat all the pieces well with this bagar. Next, I'm just going to cover and cook this for about 7 minutes, but stirring in between to ensure that the dudhi is cooked. So to ensure that after about 7 minutes, just press one of the pieces down with your spoon or a knife and it should break very easily into 2 pieces. This is very important that the dudhi gets cooked before we add the coconut milk. So mix everything nicely together. And once your dudhi or your bottle gourd is cooked, now you're going to add the coconut milk. Just add a little more water, about 1/4 cup of water. Mix everything nicely together. And you see how the color of this verdu has become nice and light. Now we're going to add some salt to taste and a little pinch of sugar. Stir everything well, give it a taste, see if you need to add a little more salt. And then we're going to cover and cook this for another 5 minutes. And you can see that now the dudhi has become translucent. You can actually, it's like the pieces are translucent. That means your dudhi is ready, your verdur is ready. And this goes best with some nice rice and some fried fish and pickle, or even some prawn chili fry at the side. So just serve this up nice and hot. And it's really, really delicious. And this is very nice for the summer. It's very light on the palate and the tummy. So do try out this recipe and do let me know in the comment section how you like this recipe. Go and check out all my other Goan recipes. All the recipes with their links will be in the description box as well as the comment section. You just click on the link and you can go to my recipe directly. So thank you so much for being here on Akshata's Recipes. I'll catch you soon in the next video. Bye. So let's start. So here I have taken 1 cup of white bananas or white peas, wash them thrice under water really well, and then I'm going to soak them in 2 cups of water for at least 5 to 6 hours. Also, I'm going to soak a little bit of tamarind, about 1 teaspoon of tamarind in some water. And now we're going to roast some spices and some other ingredients. So let's go through the ingredients. So here I have taken 1 tablespoon of fennel seeds, which is also called sauf. Next, we're going to use about 10 peppercorns, which is also called as miri. Next, we're going to go with 1 tablespoon of poppy seeds, also known as khaskhas. About 4 cloves, which is lavang. Then we're going to use 1 inch of cinnamon, also known as dalchini. 1 tablespoon of coriander seeds or dhania. And 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds or jeera. Now we're also going to be using about 4 dried red chilies, 1 medium-sized onion, half a cup of freshly grated coconut, and a few curry leaves, about 5 to 6 fresh curry leaves. So let's start with today's recipe. Now I'm going to take a pan and I'm going to dry roast all the whole spices, leaving out the dry red chilies, the onion and the curry leaves. All the other spices that I've shown you, we're going to dry roast them for about a minute or so till you get the lovely aroma. And then you're going to transfer this to a nice clean and dry bowl. Now in the same pan, after wiping it with a clean cloth, I'm just going to add about 1 teaspoon of oil. And now I'm going to add the dry red chilies, the curry leaves and the onion. And we're going to fry these 3 ingredients for about 2 to 3 minutes till you get the lovely aroma of the curry leaves and the onion. And the chilies also fried well. We're going to transfer this to the bowl. And then I'm going to add just about half a teaspoon more of oil. And we're going to add the fresh coconut. We're going to fry this coconut really well till it becomes nice and dark brown or light brown in color rather. So just fry it for about a minute or 2. And then you'll see that it turns into this light brown kind of fried coconut. We're going to add this to the bowl too. Now we're going to let all of these ingredients come to room temperature And then we are going to add them to our mixer jar. And now I'm going to squeeze out the pulp of the tamarind, and we're going to use that water to grind this masala or the paste. So add the water. It should be about 4 or 5 tablespoons of water. And I'm also going to add another 4 teaspoons of plain water. And we're going to grind this to a very fine paste. So this is the paste that is ready. To that I'm going to add half a teaspoon of turmeric powder. Now I don't like to add the turmeric powder into the mixer jar because it discolors the lid. But if you want, you can go ahead and add the turmeric powder while you're grinding the paste itself. So now I'm going to be adding, so now after 5 to 6 hours of soaking the vatana, I'm going to add it to the pressure pan. To that I'm going to add 1 small onion that I've chopped fine, a little bit of salt, mix all of this really well. And then we're going to cook this for 1 whistle on high and then simmer it or cook it on a very low flame for 10 minutes. So now we have our paste ready, and now we just have to let the vatanas cook. So once the cooker has cooled down completely to room temperature, you can see that the white vatanas or the white peas are now completely cooked. You can check by just, taking one of the vatanas and just pressing them. They should just, crumble into pieces. That means it's cooked. If it's not cooked, then again add it back to your cooker and cook it for another 5 to 6 minutes. So now I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of oil. I've transferred the vatanas to another bowl. And now once the oil is nice and hot, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of mustard seeds or mori or rye. And then I'm going to add half a teaspoon of hinga or asafoetida. Now I'm going to add this ground paste to the oil. And we're going to fry the paste really well. Keep your flame between low to medium and fry the paste well in the oil. And now to the bowl in which we had kept the paste, I'm just going to add a little bit of water, about 1/4 cup of water, and mix the paste so that we don't waste any of the lovely goodness of this paste that we ground. So we can use this water. So now I'm going to add the cooked vatanas to the masala. The aroma in my kitchen is just fabulous with all of these lovely spices. Mix everything together. Now we're going to add this paste water. Mix everything well. Now this is a little bit of a thickish gravy, so don't add more water. We don't want it to be very runny. It should be more on the thicker side, like an usar. And now, of course, we're going to flavor it with some salt to taste. So you can add as much or as little salt as you like. Go give it a taste once you add the salt. Always add a little salt at a time. And then I also like to add just a little pinch of sugar. You can also add jaggery if you like. And then mix everything really well. And then I'm just going to cover and cook this for about 2 to 3 minutes on a low to medium flame, stirring in between. And now after 2 to 3 minutes, our lovely recipe is all ready. And I like to serve this with some hot, chapatis or polis. You can also have this with pão. Don't forget to add a nice big dash of lime or lemon juice, and you can enjoy this. So I hope you liked today's recipe. I hope you will give it a try. I'll see you soon. So friends, let's see this delicious Oreo kazuchi usal, which is so very delicious. Now first I'll show you how to prep the cashews. So these are the raw cashews, or the wet cashews as they call them. You have to wash them thoroughly well under running water, and then I've taken about 4 cups of of water for about 250 grams of cashews, and I'm going to put it into the hot water and let it boil for about 15 minutes on a low flame. You get this kind of a white scum. Keep removing it and let the cashews boil in this water for about 15 minutes on a very low flame. Now in the meantime, I'm going to roast 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds for about half a minute till you get the aroma of the cumin seeds. And then I'm going to grind it to a very fine powder in my in my mortar and pestle, or you can even use a dry grinder. So we want a very fine powder. Once the powder is done, just transfer it to a vati or a small cup and set it aside. You can also use the ready-made roasted cumin powder. Now here I have about 1 cup of freshly grated coconut, to which I'm going to add 1/4 cup of hot water, and I'm going to grind it to this thick paste. Now using a colander, I'm going to drain or strain the paste through a sieve, and then I'm just going to press it down with a spatula and extract the coconut milk. So this is the thick coconut milk. Now I'm going to repeat this process just once more, adding about 5 tablespoons more of the hot water. So in this way, we'll get about 1 cup of coconut milk. Now you can also use the ready-made coconut milk, or you can even use the the powder coconut milk that you get, where you have to mix it with hot water. You can use either of the any of the options, and you get about 1 cup of this lovely coconut milk. So here you can see I'm just repeating the process and getting the second extract, and this is 1 cup of thick coconut milk. So now our cashew nuts are nicely cooked. We're just going to transfer them to another vessel and let them come to room temperature, so we can actually start peeling them. Don't peel them when they're very hot, because then they'll tend to break. So let them come to room temperature completely. And then you will see that it's so easy to peel them. The peel just comes off easily like that. And then just separate them like this into 2 halves and set them aside. So this is a real summer recipe, because these ole kazus are only available in the summertime. After that they actually dry them up and they become into cashew nuts, which we all love. But this is a real delicacy, and you must try it if you get your hands on these ole kazus. So you can see the peel is coming off really very easily after cooking it in some hot water. Now we're going to make the usar. So I've taken a pan, heated it up, and I'm adding about 1 tablespoon of oil. Now once my oil is nice and hot, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of mustard seeds or mohori or rye. Once the mustard seeds are nice and hot and spluttering, we're going to add half a teaspoon of cumin seeds, half a teaspoon of asafoetida or hinga, and we're going to add half a teaspoon of turmeric powder or haldi. Now mix all of this bagar well together. Now we're going to add our cashews, which we've peeled and separated. Saute this really well so it gets very nicely mixed up with the rest of the bagar. Now we're going to add the roasted and ground cumin powder that we prepared. So like I said, if you're using ready-made, you can use the ready-made one also. Next, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of red chili powder, or you can add it as per your taste. If you don't want it very spicy, you can go with half a teaspoon. If you want it a little more spicy, you can add just half a teaspoon more. Now I'm going to add just 1/4 teaspoon of goda masala, or if you don't have goda masala at hand, you can use garam masala. Now we're going to add some salt to taste. Now I'll leave the recipes for my homemade garam masala, homemade goda masala in the description box below, and you can make that at home too. And now we're going to add our 1 cup of coconut milk. Oh, the aroma in my kitchen is just mind-blowing. It's amazing. And I just can't wait to dig into this. So I'm just going to use about 5 tablespoons of water into that coconut milk. So just add about 5 tablespoons more of water. You can just rinse the coconut milk off. And now we're going to add 2 teaspoons of jaggery, or you can add as per taste. And I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of Kashmiri red chili powder for the lovely color. That's it, friends. And now all we have to do is cover it and simmer it or cook it on a very low flame for 10 to 15 minutes till everything really comes together well. And you will see how the color is so nice and rich, and it's thickened up a bit and it tastes amazing. Now if you want it a little bit thinner, you can add about 1/4 cup of hot water and cook it for another 2 minutes or so. And that's it, friends. Now I'm just going to garnish with a little bit of coriander, fresh coriander leaves which I've chopped up fine. Transfer it to a serving bowl. And this goes really well with some lovely hot polis or rotis or some lovely steamed rice with some lovely mango pickle at the side. And I'm just going to garnish it again with some chopped coriander. And that's it, guys. This lovely Ola Kajuchi usar is all ready to just enjoy. Delicious Goan chana usar. Now here I've taken half a cup of Kabuli chana boiled. I'll leave the instructions in the description box and the comment section as to how to get them to the perfect consistency. We want them to be really well cooked. Now let's look at the other ingredients. Here I have half a cup of freshly grated coconut. We're going to use 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder, half a teaspoon of asafoetida, and half a teaspoon of mustard seeds, some salt to taste. This is 1 tablespoon of coriander seeds or dhania. Here I have 1 inch of cinnamon, 8 peppercorns and 4 cloves. A few curry leaves, about 3 or 4 dried red chilies, 2 teaspoons of jaggery and 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds. Now first I'm going to dry roast the spices, that is the red chilies, the cinnamon, the cloves, the pepper, the coriander seeds and the jeera or the cumin seeds. We're going to roast them for a whole 1 minute on a low to medium flame till you get the lovely aroma of all these spices. Once they're at room temperature, I'm going to transfer them to my mixer jar, add the coconut and also 1/4 cup of water. And we're going to grind this to a very smooth paste, and we're also going to retain the masala water. Now I'm going to heat a pan and I'm just going to add about 1 teaspoon of oil. Spread the oil around. Now once the oil is nice and hot, we're going to add the mustard seeds. Let the mustard seeds splutter. Once they begin to splutter, we're going to add the curry leaves. Next, we're going to add the hing or asafoetida as well as the turmeric powder. Give this all a good mix. And then we're going to add our cooked Kabuli chana. Let me tell you quickly how I cook them to the Kabuli chana. So first I soak the Kabuli chana, wash it really well under water thrice, soak it. Okay, now we're going to add the ground masala. I will tell you how to make the Kabuli chana as we go along in the recipe, and I'll leave it in the comment section. So after you have washed it well, soak it for a good 7 to 8 hours, and after that cook it in your pressure pan for 1 whistle on high. Now we're adding the masala water, 1 whistle on high, and then simmer it for 15 minutes. So in total I've now added about 3/4 cup of water. Don't worry, I'll leave the instructions in the description box below as to how to cook the Kabuli chana. Now I'm adding the jaggery or the gourd or the gur, and I'm adding salt to taste. And once you pressure cook it, let the pressure pan cool completely. And then you just take one of the Kabuli chanas and press it between your 2 fingers, the forefinger and the thumb, and it should be really nice and soft. It should immediately crush. So now mix everything really well. And now we just have to cover this and cook it on a low to medium heat for about 7 to 8 minutes till everything comes together. And now our lovely usar is ready. My kitchen has a beautiful aroma of this and I can't wait to take it. And I'm just going to garnish it with some fresh coriander leaves. And a beautiful Goan chana usar. Let's start with today's lovely recipe. Now here I've sprouted 1 cup of chana or kala vatana. And now I'm going to pressure cook it for 1 whistle on high and simmer it for 10 minutes. This is how it will look. Now we're going to make a coarse paste, and for that paste I've taken half a cup of fresh coconut, about 4 dried red chilies, 2 tablespoons of tamarind soaked in some water, and some garam masala. Then I'm going to grind all the whole spices, grind the red chilies, grind the coconut along with this tamarind water to a very coarse paste. Now we're going to heat 1 tablespoon of oil in a pan. And once the oil is hot, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of mustard seeds. Once the mustard seeds begin to splutter, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of turmeric powder or haldi powder, half a teaspoon of red chili powder. Then we're going to add some 7 to 8 curry leaves. Now once the curry leaves are nice and fried, we're going to add this paste that we have ground, this coarse paste. Now we're going to fry this paste really, really well. Once the paste is nice and fried, we're going to add the black vatanas that is sprouted along with the water that we have cooked it in the pressure pan. Mix everything really, really well. Now I'm going to add the water that it was cooking in the pressure pan. So for 1 vati of sprouted vatana, I've used about 2 cups of water. So I'm adding that water too. And we're going to mix everything really, really well. Now to sprout this black gram or black vatana, what I did is I took 1 cup of vatana, washed it really well, and then I kept it soaked in water for about 10 hours. Now I'm going to add some salt to taste. Then after 10 hours, I took out all the water and let the chana rest in for about another 8 to 10 hours, and then you'll see that it starts to sprout. So when you're sprouting it, there should not be any water. So the water should be taken out after soaking it for 10 hours and then keeping it without any water for 10 hours, and you'll get the sprouts. And now I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of jaggery or gur. And when I'm pressure cooking this 1 cup, I've used 2 cups of water and pressure cooked it on 1 whistle on high and then simmered it or kept it on a low flame for about 10 minutes till it gets nice and cooked. Now we're just going to stir everything together. And now I'm going to add 1/4 cup of chopped coriander leaves. But now the recipe is not yet done. The most important part is there, and that is we're going to take a tadka pan or a tempering pan, and I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of oil to it. So we're going to add this tempering or this tadka or this fodni, and all we're going to do is just going to add a lot of chopped up garlic or lasun. So I've taken about, I think, 8 to 10 cloves of garlic and really chop them very, very fine. And once the oil is hot, I'm going to add the garlic to this and I'm going to fry the garlic really well. If you haven't ever tried, giving a fodni of garlic to your dals or some of these special usars, you should. It just tastes amazing. And just to elevate the flavor, I'm going to add about 1/4 teaspoon of red chili powder and again fry everything really, really well. And once all of this is really fried well, I'm going to add this to our usar, our kala vatana usar, and I'm going to mix everything really well. And now our usar is finally ready. So you must try out this dish, guys. It's super, super delicious. In fact, you can eat it all by itself, or it goes really well with some nice hot steamed rice or even some polis or chapatis. So I hope you do try out this recipe, and I'll catch you soon in my next recipe. See you guys. Bye. So friends, let's see today's darimbi usal, which is field beans, val, lima. They have very different names. So I've taken 1 vati of this darimbi, I've washed it well and I've soaked it in 3 vatis of water for at least 10 hours. After 10 hours, I'm going to drain out all the water and keep it for another 10 hours. And then you will see that it begins to sprout like this. So now our darimbi is ready for our lovely usal. Now I'm going to soak this in water for another 2 hours. It's not yet ready actually because we have to take off the peel. So now that I've soaked it in water for 2 hours, you can just take out the peel very easily. So they are sprouted and nicely peeled. So now we are ready to make the usal. Now here I've taken 1 tablespoon of oil in a pan. Once the oil is hot, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of mustard seeds. Once they begin to splutter, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of jeera or cumin seeds. Next, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of asafoetida or hinga and half a teaspoon of turmeric powder or haldi powder. Then I'm going to throw in a few curry leaves. Try to use fresh curry leaves if possible, because that really brings out the flavor. Now give all of this a nice quick stir. Add in your lovely darimbi. This is one of my favorite usals. It's so delicious. I also have a recipe for darimbi bhat or pulao. I'll share that soon. Now saute this for half a minute. Let it get nicely mixed with the bagar or the fodni. This gets ready also very quickly. All you have to do is just, prep the darimbi or the val in advance. Now I'm just going to add 2 vatis of water or 2 cups of water, because now we have to cook this. It's still in a raw form. So we have to cook it till it gets nice and soft. Now we're going to stir everything and then you're going to cover and cook this for 8 minutes on a low flame, stirring in intervals. After 8 minutes, our beans are cooked. Now we can season it. So first I'm going to give it a gentle stir. Then I'm going to add some salt to taste. Now I like using pink salt, the Himalayan pink salt or Himalayan rock salt. Give it a good mix. And now I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoon of red chili powder. You can also bring 1.4 teaspoon. Then I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of goda masala or kala masala, which is homemade. If you can't make it at home, it's available in all supermarkets. I'll leave a link of how I prepare my goda masala at home. Now I'm going to add some jaggery or gur. I'm adding half a tablespoon, but you can add it as per your taste. If you don't have gur or jaggery at home, just use sugar. Or if you don't like the sweetness, you can just skip it out altogether. Now cover and cook this for at least 8 minutes on a low flame and stirring in between. And our usal is all ready. It's so delicious, guys. You have to try it if you've never tried darimbi usal. Go to your supermarket today or your store and just buy this. It's called val, darimbi beans, field beans. And just garnish it with some fresh coconut. Freshly grated coconut, and you can put some coriander as well, and it's all ready. So do try out this recipe and let me know how you like it. To see more videos like this, then don't forget to leave this video a big thumbs up. Also, by clicking the thumbs up icon. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and become a part of Akshata's Recipes. Once you have subscribed, there is a small little bell icon that will pop up, so just click on that. That way, whenever I put up a new recipe or a new video, you'll get a message for the same. So on that note, I'll say bye and I'll catch you in my next video sooner than you think. This is Akshata saying bye, take care, stay healthy, stay fit, be kind and loving to one another. So till we meet again, bye.